I recently came back from a 2.5 weeks travel to Asia. In this 18 days, I visited Japan, Singapore, and Bali in this order. Here's how I split up the days. One day was spent traveling from Canada to my first stop, Tokyo, Japan. Since Japan was 13 hours ahead of my origin, I arrived mid-afternoon the next day in time to take a shower and hit the bustling streets of Tokyo. I spent 2.5 days in Tokyo, then hopped on a 90-minute flight to Osaka to spend 2 days with 1 day trip to Kyoto and returning back to Tokyo to catch the flight to the next destination. I spent a total of 4.5 days in Japan. Look out for a full what to do in Japan itinerary. Next stop is Singapore, with a flight time of 7 hours from Tokyo. Singapore is an island country and a city-state, so there was not much travel needed to explore. Examples of things to do are Marina Bay Sands Observatory, Gardens by the Bay, Little India, Arab Street, and you must go to eat in Chinatown. I spent a total of 4 days in Singapore. Though I spent half of the time relaxing from the packed itinerary in Japan, I personally think Singapore can be done in 2 days, as there's not too much to see besides the Marina Bay area and possibly Sentosa Island, of which I did not visit. On to our final stop, one of the most highly sought after Indonesian province island, Bali. Bali is approximately a 4-hour flight from Singapore. Bali was a nice finish to this mini Asia tour because I did not have to plan it, so I got to relax while someone else did the heavy lifting. This part of my trip was a group travel organized by Go Jolly. Do not be fooled by Bali's unassuming small size. The island is quite big. It can take about 4 hours to drive from one end to another. While we stayed in Ubud, which was about 1 hour drive from the main airport, DPS, many of the places visited like Penida Island and North Bali were between 1 to 3 hours drive from Ubud. That said, we also enjoyed several relaxing activities like a flower bath and a floating breakfast. Bali is the ultimate getaway for anyone that loves the soft life. I spent a total of 7 days in Bali. Also, look out for my Bali itinerary. The last 1.5 days were spent returning back to Canada. Although I dreaded the long return flight back, an overnight stop in Tokyo helped to break up the trip into sizable chunks. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Asia. If I were to give a rating out of 5 stars, Japan would be a solid 6 stars. Singapore, 3 stars. More details in my Singapore recap. And Bali, 3.8 stars. Details also in my Bali recap. Are any of these countries on your list? Let me know in the comment section if you have specific questions about any of them. Bye!